Are we rolling?
We are rolling.
Awesome. Oh my God. Okay. Let's just have Okay.
Guys, I'm here next to a real life TV star.
Woo! It's that time. Okay. Yes. Mike could not wait. Oh my God. Okay. Yes. So the news is out. I got casted to host a Emmy-nominated TV show, The American Dream, that will be airing on HGTV, Travel Channel, YouTube TV, Amazon Prime, Roku, Tubi, YouTube, ABC, Fox, NBC, you name it, we're everywhere. It's basically featuring lifestyle in South Florida, so Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, and real estate. And of course, none other than me will be hosting. And yes, I'm super excited.
What's your name?
Nichollette White.
And my name is Mike, NMLS 1857587, and we are the hosts for Millennial Money Matters.
Yes, awesome.
So, really cool news
Yes.
from you. We've talked about it a little bit off air. Excited because, like I mentioned, I think it's always the first one. It opens up more doors for you in the future.
Yes.
And hopefully it opens up plenty so we can see more of you. Because we were talking about not getting to a point where we're not producing.
The good old days. Those are going to be the good old days where we're like making money. We're on a boat. We're not even checking up on our team because we had somebody else that does that. So yeah, I'm ready for it.
That's good. Well, how has Q1 been for you so far?
Q1 for me, it has been, I want to say it's been busy. It feels slow, but I can feel the momentum of everything ramping up. So I entered Q1 with business, a listing. So right now I want to say I have about probably like $2.2 million under contract.
Nice.
Yeah, I think so. And let me do the math really quickly. But anyhow, let's say 2.2. I'm sorry.
No, you good. Those are huge numbers.
Yeah. So and I love that. Last year I started the first two quarters really strong, and the last quarter I kind of eased in real smooth, got a chance to enjoy the holidays, but came into the new year with business. So I like when it starts off busy. It stresses me out a little bit because there's so much happening in Q1. It's my birthday, it's the new year, so it's so action packed. But it makes me feel good because towards the summer and spring I can kind of chill. That's where I take my vacations. I kind of slow down. But with the way things have been changing, I don't know what this,
You're not going to be able to.
No, I think I'm going to be working this year. I'm looking forward to it though.
Yeah.
I'm ready to like really.
That's 2.2 million, by the way.
Yes.
On the buyer side and the listing side, because NAR can't take your money till July.
And the thing about it is, I'm not taking a listing if they're not going to be providing buyer's compensation. I just don't. I can't be that agent. Like it's just a part of our business that I think I need to honor. Like I would have to explain to the seller, like, this is really how it works. This is how we get the best thing. I think it just makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll jump into that too, because I know we got a lot to speak about when it comes to that.
Yes.
Q1 for me, honestly, it's felt the same way. It's felt like it's been a little bit slow, but it hasn't at the same time. Our apps are still coming in pretty much to what they have always been. It's been a little bit steady this year. I think this is the one year that it's been steady, not steadily increasing, which honestly is not a bad thing. Like I mentioned, I don't want to. This year for me is I need to figure out and try to take as much time as I can to relax because there's so many things that I'm doing. So if it's not steadily increasing, but the numbers are staying the same, I'm honestly happy. I'm okay. I could take a year to do that before I start pushing and getting momentum again. And I'm probably just talking out of the side of my neck because next week I'll probably get some motivation and start pushing like I always do. But I think as of today, we are at 6.5 million for Q1.
That's great. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's okay. On average, what is that? We'll probably end at 7. So 7
because
times
this is the
4
last month.
is 28. So it's like pretty much literally around the same thing.
Yeah, you're on track.
On track for the 30, but we're not accounting for the fact that Q1 is just one of the slower parts of the year.
It's a ramp up.
So spring
is where we really hit that momentum.
Spring and summer is probably going to be different because last year spring and summer was really different for us too. So we'll see. But the numbers are there. Good. Taking the time to be relaxing with the family and the kids. Baseball.
I love that for you so much. I really do. I really do love to hear it because one thing I know about you since I've been working with you, you work. Obviously, we all do, but you have put in so much time. Well, all right, let's get to it.
Let's do it. NAR settlement. The news came out last week. Really to no surprise. I we said it when we first started the podcast late last year, that we wouldn't be surprised if it happens. And even if it did, we didn't feel like really much would change. And I think our sentiment still stays the same.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, NAR settled with the lawyers of the class action lawsuit about the fact that basically NAR was violating antitrust laws, where they were basically forcing sellers to pay both sides, buyers and sellers agents, commission, and they felt like it violated antitrust laws, and they settled at $418 million. And the terms of the settlement was the fact that you are no longer able to, basically display buyer broker agent commissions on the MLS. That has to be completely removed. The seller's no longer obligated to do it. If there's any negotiations that are going to happen for the buyer's agent, it would have to be off the MLS. And sellers essentially now coming from NAR are no longer obligated to pay the buyer side, which, they never really were obligated to either way. Commission has always been negotiable. I think the biggest shock for me that I got from it was the fact that you literally can't advertise it on the MLS.
Yes.
That was the biggest shock for me.
I think so too, because it changes the game, because literally you're blind. You don't know. So you have to have that conversation with the agent straight up. And it's going to be to the point where, to me, how I see it is, before we even request to view the property, what's the details? Is there going to be compensation or not? And I don't know. Like, I'm prepared to have that conversation.
Yeah.
I'm really prepared to have the conversation, because either way, like, we need to know, like, it's important. Having a conversation with the buyers doesn't scare me either, because it's something that we've been prepping. Granted, now we have to really let them know, like, look, there is a opportunity that there might be a chance that you have to pay a portion of my commission. But again, I'm going to the sellers first, still.
Yeah. And I think I think that's a given too, right? Is just trying to make sure that we get it from the seller. The only thing that I'm thinking is there's going to be people getting listings now advertising the fact that the seller's not going to have to pay commission. Because they're going to go to that listing appointment. They're going to go to that listing appointment and say, hey, by the way, you don't have to pay buyer's commission anymore. We're going to sell this and you only have to pay me, and my fee is X amount. Kind of the same thing of the when you see those like
we buy cash houses.
I'll sell your home for 1%.
And how well do they do?
Yeah, they don't do well.
Right. Because when you think about it, okay, if that's your strategy, if that's it, okay, does that strategy get my house sold in a decent amount of time at the highest amount of money? I don't think so. It saves, 3%, 2%, 2.5%. But that does not mean that property will move. That does not mean that there's going to be a buyer. Because think about it. If indeed you're shopping with a buyer that cannot afford to pay their agent's commission, they might pass on that house. That's just the reality of it. Because we can't get this house because you're not going to pay my agent. So what are we going to do? You know what I'm saying? What options do we really have here where that buyer's concerned? But that was the one that really got me too, that you cannot advertise this at all. So I know there's going to be a lot of listing agents that straight off the bat, when they pick up the phone, yes, offering commission. No, not offering commission. Okay. And it kind of goes from there. That's how we're going to enter the conversation. I think it's dumb.
Yeah, and I don't think the doing it as a seller credit is going to work that well either. I mean, it depends if the buyer needs the credit or not. If they don't need seller credits, then yeah, utilizing seller credits to pay the agent's commission could help. But ultimately, if there's something wrong with that property and the buyer still needs the seller concession, right? You have the 3% if you're doing conventional, or 6% if you're doing FHA rule, and that's where it could get a little bit tricky. You would have to. The easiest thing is going to be to do it as an addendum, not as a seller credit.
Yeah.
Because then you take away from the buyer too, and I think that this is going to get a lot of realtors to send their clients over to new construction.
Of course, because that's what's going to happen first. I think what's going to happen, especially buyers that can afford luxury or new first-time home buyers, they're going to go new construction. And I think that might also affect, two things might happen. New construction, because remember, I think it was post-COVID. No, I think it was 2022, 2023, where new construction, they were trying to do like 1% commission on some deals. The one we were like really busy, we had those over asking offers.
Not anymore.
And right.
Yeah,
not anymore.
Now they're doing it like what?
I think you're like 4%, 3%, depending on where you are. But I think that as people start to now push towards new construction, they may lower the commission.
Yeah, true.
You know, because it was
as the buyer traffic gets. You're right. I didn't think of that.
That's what happens in 2023-ish.
Yeah, when they're selling houses, when the houses are selling, now is when they can really back.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we'll bring them over. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you'll get a commission, but it'll be this, because then they say we're doing all the work, blah blah blah. You know, you're just referring your customers to us.
So you're gonna be like, I'm giving you 1%, but what you getting over there? 0.
Yeah,
I was with Sanchir this week at a seminar, and she's like, "Listen to me. I am not your friend. You call me, but make sure that your realtor calls me.
Yes.
Because I work for NAR." I'm like,
exactly. What is the truth? Yeah. Because literally, if I have a client that's looking to do new construction, I call her, because Sanshare is everywhere. So I'm like, yo, Sanshare might be a customer coming over there, because they just pop up.
Yeah.
These customers, they don't care. They just pop up. Then they start to get to talking, and then a contract gets signed, and then they're like, oh yeah, I have a realtor. Girl, that's what you should have led with, you know? So I don't know. I do think people are going to move to new construction. I do think agents are going to try to get away from working with first-time home buyers, because they're not going to know how. Because again, the conversation is going to be the part that can trip some people up.
Yeah, because you have to have that conversation to protect your business. You have to have that conversation up front with the buyer.
Yes.
Because you have to already prep them for the fact that they might have to pay you.
Yes, and it is required in order to show a property that you have the buyer broker agreement signed.
Yeah, but you can have it at 0 as long as it's signed,
right. Yeah.
Which is the risk that you would run. But I think if I was an agent, I would do that.
But at 0?
I would put the buyer broker agreement at, if it's not 0, I would say, you know what? Pay me, we'll do it at a flat of 3,000 worst case scenario. Because ultimately, I know that I'm going to get it from the seller. Like, that's just a thing that I know.
I agree.
And running a business, you have to be able to kind of take that risk. And so if I do it on the first one and I realize it doesn't work, well, guess what happens now on the second one? The second one, I'm going to think about it a little bit different. So I may lose a little bit of money, but I'm going to try that tactic, because if it does work, I know for my business moving forward, I'm going to get buyers.
Yeah.
Because now if I tell the buyer, hey, you have to pay everybody else X amount if your stuff doesn't close, this is how confident I am in the value that I'm going to bring you, is that if I absolutely worst case can't get it from the seller on any property, you're only going to have to pay me X amount.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the way I would do it. I wouldn't recommend anybody else to, but that's kind of the way that I run my business on the loan officer side. Like I tell people all the time, I'll do a loan for free if I need to keep the client, because that client's going to refer 2 or 3 more,
absolutely,
four more people.
When it goes well.
So it just depends on, you know, the way that you're running your business and how you want to run it, right? You're going to probably be way more comfortable with having that conversation and with clients, and a lot of other realtors would.
Yeah, because that's how I start too. It's crazy because I have like a client intake form, and literally before they even fill it out, I put a disclosure like, you have to be comfortable before this whole NAR settlement doing or signing a buyer broker agreement, because I was trying to protect my time. Like, I didn't want you to be using me, Jane, and Doe. Like, no, you need to sign this, because in the event that you do try to go to Jane, thank you, Jane. I need my money, you know? So I have always been utilizing that in my conversations and with all my buyers. They have to sign it because I don't want to be wasting my time. So now, y'all better start using them. You know,
Yeah, a lot of people didn't.
As a buyer's agent, you should.
You should have been already using them.
So many buyers, they be flip flopping with whomever, whatever. They feel like our time is like we get paid to just stare at them or drive them around or stuff like that, and that's not the case. We don't get paid until the deal closed.
Exactly.
And there's so much, even with this whole commission thing, there's so much that we do behind the scenes or even leading up to that does not even add up to how much commission we sometimes make off of these deals, depending on the time. When you think about on the back end, because I was reading some comments on different threads where people were saying, oh, well, realtors don't deserve the amount of commission that they receive anyways. And the amount of times that I have talked people off the ledge in real estate, I should be a therapist. Really, when you think about not just writing these contracts, negotiating these contracts, but keeping these buyers on track, like making sure that they stick to it. It's hard out here. Like, it's not easy to purchase a house, especially within the past couple years. It's gotten very difficult. So you talking about like just managing their mindset. We're constantly having to reassure them. That is work. Okay. You doing that with several buyers. That's a lot of work. Then negotiating, making sure they really understand and even having the right team. Some people are not ready when they first meet you. So that's a couple years. It could be a year, it could be 6 months that we're literally nurturing them, okay, that we don't get paid. Then you think about the time frame that it takes to even get you under contract and then the close. That's another month. We're driving around. You're not paying for gas. We're doing all these things, and then we finally get paid, and then it's like, when we calculate, sometimes we're in the negatives if we were to really quantify our time that we spent with each, customer.
The people that say that, realtors shouldn't be getting paid what they get paid are the ones that should try to get their license and try to bring in
they would
some
never
deals.
do it.
It's very difficult to become to be consistent as an agent. Usually you get your license and you'll get one up front because of you're so excited to get your license and tell everybody that you're a realtor. Somebody will end up believing you, and then you're going to go through the transaction. You're going to realize how difficult it is for yourself because you're basically going through it with your client for the first time as well, right? You don't have the experience that you're going to need to have. And then after that, trying to get deals from people that are not family and friends and getting people to trust you when you don't know anything, it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of trial and error. Becoming a consistent agent full time is not easy, which is why they say that 20% of the 10%, what is it, 20% of people with their licenses are actually closed deals. If you closed more than one transaction last year as an agent, you were top 30% in the nation.
And isn't the average like 7? Or no, like that's like above average if you do 7.
Yeah, if you only did one last year, you were top 30%.
Can you imagine? And you're barely surviving because the average price point in single family, whether you're in Broward or Dade, not even 600,000. So, and that's on like a 2.5% commission. That's a couple without, you cannot feed your family.
Nope.
Good luck to your one. You can't feed your family. Though,
exactly.
So.
It's very, very difficult. And then also, what people don't realize that realtors do a lot of, it's not about showing the property or finding the property for the client. We always say that most likely the client's going to find their property themselves, no matter what.
Absolutely. They're going to send you something that you probably sent them, but they're sending it to you. Yeah.
It's more so, what are you going to do when you go under contract? Do you understand your time frames? Do you understand, who you're supposed to get for an inspection, for an appraisal, all this stuff? Are you going to trust the person whose fiduciary responsibility is to the seller? And even then, let's say that the listing agents start to say, okay, you know what? Now I'm going to be able to what I'll do is I'll just help the seller on the buyer side. Well, good effing luck. Trying to manage both sides of the transaction consistently and trying to continue to increase your business as a listing agent.
It's a lot. It becomes a lot because I've been on both sides. And even just kind of sometimes going back and forth, because you're always going to have, in one of my situations, my seller just did not trust the buyer. She didn't want them working with me at all. She was like, I don't feel comfortable with this. Like, you're our realtor. And I told her, I said, yes, but I'm fair. You know what I'm saying? So if they're asking me, so I still have to come back to you guys. Like, I know what you guys want, and we have to have a meeting of the minds. And I have to be fair to both parties. That's why you guys have to meet in the middle, some way. But of course, so it's going to be uncomfortable, and then there are those, agents where going to have their own inspector where they might not favor for you, because they want their seller to earn money because, again, they're making money off of the sale, off the top.
And just to kind of end the point and nip it in the bud here. Those lawyers are getting paid about 40% of that lawsuit. So once you take out 40%, you got about 60% that are spread across a bunch of sellers over the nation. They're probably getting, I would be surprised if they get $100 per seller. So when you want to talk about commission splits,
right,
look at the people that put together that lawsuit.
Right. And he drops his mic. Boosh. Absolutely. So what I say to realtors moving forward is, know your stuff. If you're a new realtor, my best bet for you would to get a mentor. Understand the contracts, understand the tools that we have to help our clients, both on the seller side, both on the buyer side, as well as get connected, because your network equates to your net worth, and knowing another listing agent and also knowing how to negotiate and talk to people can really take you far, because we cannot look at these agents as our enemies. If you are a buyer's agent, you cannot necessarily think that this listing agent is your enemy, because again, a listing agent also knows that we need to get paid. And the easiest way for us to do that is to provide a commission, because it's the same, because that seller is going to become a buyer at some point as well. So, most listing agents, I'm pretty sure I've talked to a few agents in the business. They're like, look, I'm not taking the listing if there's not going to be a buyer side commission. It just is what it is. We're trying to get paid. You put money up when you're trying to get paid. You get things done effectively, efficiently when you're trying to get paid. So,
Mr. and Mrs. Seller, do you want to sell your home for the highest possible value with the fastest amount of time frame? Yes. In order to do that, we need to be able to compensate somebody who's going to bring us the buyer.
Exactly. That commission, that buyer's commission that you're paying, that is a buyer's fee. And then the other portion is the seller's fee for selling your house. The marketing that goes into it, the open houses, all that stuff. So everybody gets paid fairly. Like, that's their buyer's fee. That's their finder's fee. They found us the buyer, and then I sold the house for you. So, I say to this, don't worry, stay positive, continue to learn, educate yourself on the tools that you need to best equip you as an agent, and understand how to negotiate, understand how to talk and fight for what is right, which is your commission, your pay, and just educating your clients. If your buyer is not fit, fine, let's educate them in ways in which they can become fit buyers. And sellers, it's the same thing. Educate them on how to best sell their property. You know what I'm saying? What works. And there's facts, there's details, there's figures. Trust me, we have previous MLS sales that you can show, like, hey, here's the numbers. Numbers don't lie, So
yeah, experts are saying that home prices are going to come down now because sellers are going to be a little bit less greedy.
No.
If they were going to come down, you people that do not use your brains, if they were going to come down, why not just keep the price at the same price point and give the buyer's agent a commission? Because if you're doing 3% on a $400,000 home, you're talking about $12,000 extra. That's not going to do anything to lower the price point for the mortgage of the person that's going to be paying that monthly payment. Come on, guys, what are we doing here?
It's not. But the thing is, there's so many different things that people are throwing out there to make it make sense, because it doesn't right now. You done shook the table and we're trying to understand why, So you're going to hear all the different stories. I don't think price points are going to come down, especially not in South Florida. I do anticipate that, you might see homes staying on the market a little bit longer, but we are seeing that now. And again, I do think that sellers are going to give something. Yes, you will have some pushback where some sellers are going to be greedy and say no, but they'll feel it.
Those are the same FSBOs.
Yeah, you'll feel it. They'll feel it. Exactly the same ones. You'll feel it. If you're cheap today, what do they say? It's more expensive to be cheap than to just pay something up front or just, buy something worthwhile.
Yeah.
So
an agent may be expensive, but not paying for that experience could cost you a fortune.
Absolutely. And that's why it's important to know your value. So And if you don't have no value, go get you some. Figure it out. Seriously, what do you do for others?
Oh, man.
That's it. I'm signing up, y'all. That's what you need from him.
Thank you guys for joining us on this NAR settlement episode with Millennial Money Matters.
Yes.
Guys, congratulate Nikki in the comments. Like, subscribe,
Super excited.
shout her out, and make sure that you're tuning in on Hulu. What is it? Hulu, Roku, ABC, Disney Channel.
Disney Channel. Oh my gosh, my childhood. But yes, so I will definitely be dropping more information on where you guys can check me out on. But for now, you can check me out on Roku TV, HGTV, ABC, NBC, Travel Channel, YouTube, Amazon, and everywhere, duh. And if you're not following us on IG, definitely follow us on IG so you can stay up to date with us. All right, Millennial Money Matters. Millennial Money Matters, over and out.
Peace.